Hi, we can all agree that Congress is broken, and we the people need to fix it, and we need to fix it now. The a lot of things have happened over the many years, and it goes back all the way back to the revolution. Just because we won our liberty and our freedom, it doesn't mean that everything was fine, because a lot of people in our government didn't want to have our freedoms, and the people consistently has been working for the other side for years, gnawing away at our freedom and liberties, and they've done it, piece by piece, inch by inch, to if you take just a little bit away, then you don't notice it. Much like if there's a little leak in the boat, and the boat, all of a sudden you're standing in a little puddle of water, and you get a sponge and you get the water out and everything, and then later in shorter time, there's a little bit more water, you get it out, and the first thing you know, you got a leak that you can't contain, you can't stop it, and that's what's happening now. Things are going so fast that we don't recognize what's happening, and we need to do something to stop it. Wouldn't you agree with me? Now, when I turn the page, let's look at what we find to be the definition of an agency. You can all agree that in 1933, was a turning point in the direction our government was going. You got the three branches of government: the judicial, the legislative, and executive branch of government. And they all have their duties. But wait a minute, now we got the administrative agency, which is basically the fourth branch of government. But where does its powers come from? Where does the how does the how does the Department of Motor Vehicles have anything to do with making you get a driver's license? How does administrative agency like the Food and Drug Administration tell you that you can't use natural herbs? How does administrative agency of any type have any power over you? Well, basically, it's through contracts and commerce. Here, let's look up the definitions as we find it. An agency, as the Supreme Court has admitted, that all the powers of the government are exercised through individual agency and private contracts, and by no other method. It goes on to say that all powers of the government must be carried into operation by individual agency, either through the medium of public officers or contracts made with individuals. An agency is legally defined as follows. An agency includes every relation in which one person acts for another or represents another by a latter's authority. Now, I would never argue the point that the all caps name is a created entity. It is, and I will not dispute it. In fact, I'll agree with you. In the U.S. manual, it says that it's a fictional created organization. Okay, Chris Chapman, spelled in his proper way, is a man. In all caps, it is an organization. But you don't really get anywhere by stating that. But the way you handle your commercial affairs, you can work your way around it. And so, with that being said, let's look. Being that I live in Florida and I'm more aware of Florida law than most other states, an agency, administrative agency, you find in the Florida statutes, it breaks it down to an agency means the governor in the exercise of all executive powers other than those derived from the Constitution. Now, in 2009 to the present date, they changed it because they wanted to claim that they made it more understandable, which they didn't, but that's what they claim. if you were to read it today, not knowing what is said previously to 2009, it says the following officers or governmental entities, if acting pursuant to the powers other than those derived from the Constitution. Well, the governor, we elected the governor to be the governor of the state of Florida. What does that mean? Well, he is to govern the commerce, not me. I didn't authorize him. I didn't give him legislative power or executive power or any power to tell me what to do, to tell me how to travel, or to tell me that I have to get a driver's license. I mean, that's ridiculous. Why would I do that? But I did it over the years. I'm 66 years of age now. I did it over the years because I was told that's the way it had to be. But when I started reading and studying and learning all of this stuff, wait a minute, I woke up. So this is why Wake Up America is very, very important. This is why I'm looking to you people to help me to get this, spread the word, to get this advertised out to hundreds, if not thousands of people. But at the end of this video, there'll be more about that, okay? So now, let's go ahead and look to what a license is. And this is just a brief. Now, there's so much more in this, and there's so much I could go on for hours. But this is just to give you an idea that when you join Wake Up America and you become a waker, and you participate with your boots on the ground to help save America, that you'll be getting a lot of this stuff, and we're going to be having conference calls and so forth. But I'm not going to waste a lot of my time with people who don't join Wake Up America. Now, that may sound a little bit mean and so forth, but you know, we're talking serious business here. If I was going off to war and they say, okay, Chappie, you go, here's your gun, here's your ammunition, go have it, man. We're going to sit here and wait to see if you come home. That's basically what's happening now. I need people to lock arms with me, you know, and let's talk what we're going to do. Let's talk about getting our county government, our state government in control. Let's not worry about what Obama and the feds are doing. Let's take control of our state and tell the feds to get the heck out, like Sheriff Mack did. And so let's go back to what a license is. In the name of the alleged licensure-based government regulatory authority and the like kind of doctrine, the following authorities provide insight. A license is merely a permit or a privilege to do what otherwise would be unlawful. A purpose of a license to make lawful what would be unlawful without it. A license is a mere right granted by some competent authority to do an act without a license would be illegal. A license confers the right to do that which without a license would be unlawful. But let me explain, let me have you think, what is it that you have to have a license for? Well, you don't have to have a license to be married, but you go down and get a license, don't you? And that's the state giving you authority to marry. Well, if they give you authority to marry, what else in your marriage do they have authority of? Well, when you get a divorce, the state has the right to divvy up the property, don't they? You have a license to travel. You have a license to own a gun. You have a license to do this. You have a license to do that. The first thing you know, you're going to need a license to use your toilet, okay? And so what happened, now let's think about the Declaration of Independence when it says we have inalienable rights that were given by our Creator. But yet, are we alienated from them? Can we sell them or transfer them? Well, Black's Law Dictionary says no. Inalienable rights, rights that can never be abridged because they are so fundamental. What's fundamental about them? God gave them. God gave us our rights, not man. You know, our government did not give me my rights. The Constitution did not give me my rights. My rights come from my Creator, and we're all equal before before God. So there must be a contract between me and another man for him to take my property. And let's talk about the IRS for a minute. Where does the IRS come in and take a third or 40%, 30% or 40% of your property? Your property is your labor. You exchange your labor for money, and the government comes in and says, okay, we want 30% of that. Where did that come from? Who allows that to happen? We did. I did it for many, many years until 1993. I said, no, enough is enough. It ain't going to happen anymore. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, the code doesn't, you know, the IRS code and the laws, they're not for us. Well, they're not for us, but they are there to protect us. When you look at Title 18, Section 4, that you know, it is for you to report a crime. When you talk about, you know, a lot of the statutes, they're there to protect us. They are the limitations of what government can do. And so when you read on and study this, you'll start seeing the light that we have all rights given to us by God, okay? As long as we don't infringe on somebody else's equal rights, you know, we can pretty much do anything we want. And where fundamental personal liberties are involved, they may not be abridged by the state simply on showing that a regulatory statute of some rational relationship to the effectuation of a proper state purpose. Where there is a significant encroachment upon personal liberty, the state may prevail, but only upon showing subordinating interest, which is compelling. So I would love to see the compelling reason why a state has to take a third of my labor. Okay, I mean that's slavery, and you know, if we the people don't unite and stand together, we got a problem. Okay, but more on that later. Now again, this memorandum I'm using is about traffic and the right to travel, which I've used several times, and the government never came back to respond, so I kind of like won by default. But the memorandum addresses that the American citizen unalienable rights to travel in every state of the American Union of States, aka the United States of America, and the fundamental of American jurisprudence of said right to travel cannot be converted into a mere privilege by operation of legal, you know, flim-flam and so forth. And I want people to think about that the same way that I do about our liberty to work, to earn a living. You know, what right does somebody have to our property? My liberty is my property. My money is my property. My watch is my property. My body, my blood, my every essence of my being is my property. My body is the shell that I live in, that God gave me a vehicle to travel in. Do I need a license to travel in my body? Well, according to government, some of the government agencies, yeah, you know, but that's not really true, is it? Keep in mind, people, the government is not sovereignty. The government is a machinery or expedient for expressing the will of the sovereign power. Who is the sovereign power? The people. The sole object of only legitimate end of government is to protect the citizens in its enjoyment of life, liberty, and property. And when the government assumes other functions, it is usurpation and oppression. And that's the way I feel what's happening today with a lot of people. but the people need to know this. The people need to understand this. And I don't expect a lot of people to say, oh, man, you got to translate and meditate on this. You got to really understand. And that's why I am willing to have a lot of calls and a lot of education, a lot of trainings, and doing a lot of videos. And if we can get, a lot of groups in Wake Up America, like the NRA, Ralph Winterrode, Joe Bannister, if we can get Sheriff Mack and many others all together on Wake Up America, we can have some good conventions around the country where we can learn. What Wake Up America is basically is an organization to combine all these patriot groups like the Tea Party, the NRA, and so forth, and we sell ad media packs that we can consistently, the more money that we can generate by our media ad packs, that we can get on national TV and we can get on the internet, even billboards along the highway. We can really do some great work here, okay? We can really start effectively making a change to control our local and state governments. And I'm not about controlling the federal government, because the federal government has no say-so in my life, all right? And people, you got to understand that. And one more point about sovereignty. The sovereignty is a right to govern. In Europe, the sovereignty is generally ascribed to the prince. Here it rests with the people, in the United States, that is. There, the sovereignty actually administers the government. Here, never, in a single instance, our governors are the agents of the people. I mean, this is, again, our founding principles and documents of our country. Why are we ignoring this? Why are we arguing things that really are immaterial? And, we don't need to get in. The facts are on the moon. Let's get the principles of our founding governments back in place, and we can take control. And this I wanted to bring up. When you go through the documents that when they were making the Constitution and they were having their meetings and everything, and the debates that were taking place, and very interesting conversation came up that I found it most interesting. Mr. Jerry urged, they were talking about courts and juries and so forth, and Mr. Gorham says it is not possible to discriminate equity cases from those in which jurors are proper. The representatives of the people may safely trusted in this manner. And Mr. Jerry urged the necessity of juries to guard against corrupt judges. See, that was important. That's what the difference between a trial by jury or having a jury trial. In today's court, when you go to court, you're having a jury trial where the judge will tell the jury what the law is. And in the olden days, back in those days, they wanted a trial by 12 judges, where the judge was basically, the referee, like a referee in a football game. He doesn't get in there and throw the ball or anything. He decides on, that if you're playing by the rules or not. Everybody that brings a complaint is a prosecutor. Like if I want to prosecute a case, why do I have to go to a prosecutor and say, hey, I want to prosecute this for that? No, I can do it under the common law. I want 12 jurors, and they are going to be the judges, and it's me against the plaintiff. The defendant. And I have my say-so, and the jury should be allowed to ask questions, not just, sit there and fall asleep, but but have an active role and ask questions as to why I feel my complaint should stand, and the defendant will have his chance to argue it all in front of a jury. But that's not the case today, is it? And so, this is the other thing that is so important about the grand jury societies that are going on around this country. We need to support them. And I hope that somebody who watches this will give it to the leaders of the grand jury society, because we can help them get this advertised into the media. Okay, we can raise money for them and so forth. So again, get back to take a look at this, massage it, meditate on it, and please pass it around to everybody. Okay, I'm going to end with this, that, right now, today, that every child born today in the United States will have a $1.5 million in federal debt to repay. And if that doesn't change, we got to do something about that, people. I just had a grandchild, 2 years old now, and she's already accumulated a $1.5 million debt. That's going to be a lot of network marketers out there, isn't it? That's a lot of debt. But, you cannot pay a debt with a debt instrument. If I have an IOU note, and that's what a Federal Reserve note is. And if you want to look at, and this will be another video, another discussion, but you can go to Title 12, 411, that we can redeem Federal Reserve notes for gold and silver. And those statutes said that has to be, but they don't give us gold and silver, do they? In 1971 or 73, I forget which one it is, Nixon gave up the silverback dollar, or the goldback dollar for lawful money. So it created a problem, and it's been crazy there ever since. And so we need to end the Federal Reserve and the fraud that it accumulated, because we don't owe that money. That money can go right to the bankers and tell them to go jump in the lake. In fact, we can bag them all up and throw them in the ocean with a 20-ton weight on it, and then let's start over again. So, with that being said, watch the additional video about Wake Up America, and please, if you're not interested in becoming a waker, then go to my website and donate. If you don't want to do that, then subscribe and get the membership letter, okay? But if all else fails, become a waker. Get your boots on the ground. Get 3 people, and let's help them get 3 people. And if we can duplicate that 9 times, you'll be making more than enough money to help save America. God bless America, and I'll talk to you soon.
America is not down and out. This is a nation like no other, no matter what anyone in Washington may say. We're a nation of individuals who wake up every morning and work hard to build our American dream. Give us the opportunity, get out of the way, and you'll see what we can accomplish. We're an exceptional nation, founded on a desire for freedom of worship, built on a passion for individual liberty, forged on battlefields to become self-governed and sacrificing for the good of the Republic. Have we done everything right? No. Is it a perfect system? Of course not. But we're not going to allow politicians to throw out everything we've built and replace it with a bloated, overregulated, overspending federal government that is out of control. For the sake of our children and grandchildren, it's time to wake up America. Wake Up America is an organization dedicated to using public awareness and action strategies to defend the Constitution, acknowledge American exceptionalism, and restore common sense to government policies. This organization began when we asked ourselves a simple question. What if you organized large groups of like-minded, passionate people to create an income opportunity that also funded media campaigns to affect change? From that idea sprang the Wake Up America plan. We've developed an action plan that harnesses the passion of the conservative political movement, creates a grassroots vehicle for awareness and change, and combines them with a sustainable, proven business model: network marketing. Wake Up America is a category creator of political action in network marketing. And today, you have the opportunity to be among its founders. We're simply leveraging a business model that has repeatedly proven its effectiveness and applying it to something that truly matters: our country. Here's what makes the Wake Up America plan different from every other political group or network marketing company. Wake Up America funds conservative media campaigns and more by having dedicated patriots like you, people we call Wakers, promote levels of our support product, the Wake Up America Media Action Pack. The Media Action Pack is a level of monthly recurring funding that lets Wake Up America purchase blocks of media targeted to local and national issues, produce conservative editorial and educational online content, support conservative legal battles, and fund Wakers like you to take action and organize locally and nationally. It's really very simple. With each Media Action Pack, a percentage goes towards media campaigns and Wake Up America action, and a percentage goes back to the Waker, which could be you as compensation for your grassroots efforts. For most of you, this is getting paid to do something you're already doing right now, talking with your friends about your dissatisfaction with the direction of the country, the administration, and much of Congress. How's that for a combination? Conservative political action, funding national and grassroots efforts, and putting money in your pocket month after month. Build a team of like-minded patriots by starting your own team of Wakers, all wanting to stand up for their country and affect change. You will have created your own foundation to earn a residual income month after month. Remember, the time to act is now. Our marketing campaigns are underway. We're positioned to gain national attention and begin the largest movement to affect change this country has ever seen. Get your own personalized Wake Up America website and begin building your own team of Wakers. Just click the Be a Waker button on the page to get started today, and together we can Wake Up America.